Alright, you guys, so today's Friday. Just got home from work, and I'm about to take the '07 on its last drive before I start tearing it apart to part her out. So I'm gonna miss driving this car, but like I said, I needed the money, so I love this car. Alright. Well, she's back at the house. So I'm about to pop the hood, let it cool off, get all the tools out of the Trailblazer, and give y'all another update. You guys, so car's been cooling off for about 10-15 minutes. Got it jacked up, about to throw it on jack stands. I've got the oil catch can disconnected from the oil filter extension. You can see I had an RTV trying to keep that oil from making a mess. So got that disconnected, got the dog bones off, started unplugging the wires, got the supercharger belt off, and that's pretty much all I've got done so far. Also, I did pull out the gauge pod, and it's up here with the boost gauge and all the lines. And so I'm just going to keep on working on her and try to get all this stuff disconnected so I can get the engine pulled out of the car. And then that'll probably be this video, and then the next video will be the complete disassembly and getting everything boxed up and ready to get everything shipped out. I did sell the aluminum valve covers. I got those shipped out today. And I also sold the main studs, and I got those shipped out today. And then there's another guy, he bought this vacuum hose here, and I forgot to pull it off. So if you're watching this, man, my bad. But yeah, I've got to get that pulled off and get it in a bag so I can go ship it out today. And then I had somebody bought the heads today. They're going to come pick them up from Oklahoma City tomorrow. They're driving up here tomorrow. So at least got to get this out and start getting it all disassembled so I can get the heads off. And yeah, and kind of just go from there. So, and then I'm kind of just stacking up everything that Zach wants, that he bought. So this is everything for Zach so far. And then yeah, he's getting a lot of this stuff. So I've got to get the engine out, get the timing cover off, pretty much completely disassemble the engine. He's getting the intercooler, the fuel logs, the pump in the tank, which that's got to drop the tank. He's getting that turned down, the belt wrap, the pulley, the coils and wires. I'm getting like half the engine. So then the heads are sold. So it's not the best return on investment, but it's been a fun car. I'll have another one eventually. I have the knowledge for these, so not like I can't build another one later on down the road. But for now, I'm going to keep working on this, get this thing pulled out of here, and give y'all another update. Alright, you guys, so I made a little bit more progress. I got the coils and the plug wires off. They're up on top of the car in the pile for Zach. I've got the air intake out, so I got a lot more room. And one thing I did find was I have these 2 ground wires down here, and there was no bolt. So that could have been my misfire under full throttle. Maybe it was rocking a little bit and they weren't getting a good ground. Who knows? But, yep. So, one less thing I have to disconnect, but there was not a bolt in there connecting that. So, that could be one of the issues I've been experiencing. Maybe that's for the ABS. Maybe that's why my ABS light's still been on. Maybe that's why I get the message on the DIC for the steering, for the variable assist thing. But, either way, I've been getting everything unplugged, getting harness disconnected. I've got to unscrew the ECM. I've just got one Phillips right there holding the ECM in, and then I can pull it down out of the way, throw it over the top of the engine, and so I got to disconnect the shifter cable and the exhaust, heater hoses, radiator hoses. I'm going to have to pull the radiator out. And because I've got to get that front mount heat exchanger off, and that was like the first thing I did was I screwed in that heat exchanger, and the screws are behind the radiator and AC condenser. So those have to come out before I can pull the heat exchanger off. But no big deal. Like I said, it's all going to come apart anyway. So, and then I have to discharge the Freon out of the AC system because the AC does work in this car. But yeah, so I'm slowly getting everything done. Heads are sold. Guy sent me $100 deposit. He's coming tomorrow, so I've been messaging him, just sent him some pictures and stuff, and he's coming to get them tomorrow. So I'm steady making progress, and I'm gonna keep working on her. I'll give y'all another update. All right, y'all, made some more progress. Got the ice box out. So JPL Performance, you were the first person to message me about this thing. So if you want it, we got to figure out a way for you to be able to get a hold of me, so you can pay for it and I can get your address. I ain't trying to give out my phone number or my address to the whole world, and I'm sure you don't want your address being out there for everybody. So we'll figure out a way to get in contact with each other, but I'm holding that for you. So JPL Performance, figure out a way to get a hold of me. But yeah, icebox is out. I've got the intercooler is all disconnected. Got all my lines are off. So I've got it drained up here. I'm draining the radiator right now of all its coolant. So I've got the cap off. I'm just letting it drain out. And so I've already filled up that jug, and this one's just about all the way full. So I'm gonna have to find another gallon jug to put all this antifreeze in. But as soon as all this antifreeze is done draining, I can disconnect the radiator hoses and the heater hoses and undo the fuel line. And then I've got to undo all the fuel line all the way back to the tank, because Zach's getting all of that with the ZZP stainless filter. So yeah, pretty much he's getting everything. So yeah, I've got to get all this fuel line disconnected, get the air motives off. I got to unbolt the supercharger and the belt wrap and the pulley, pull the intercooler off. All that's going. This is all Zach stuff up here, so just kind of boxing all that stuff up for him. And then I've still got to, once I get the engine out, got to pull it all apart, tear it all apart, so we can get, I can get all the internal stuff that he wants. And I'm pretty much just, as I come across stuff that people's asked about and has bought, I'm just going to be putting it to the side. This is everything that's not been purchased yet. So if anybody needs any of this stuff, holler at me, let me know. Zach, I am keeping all of the intercooler lines, all these hoses for the Grand Am, because it has the same intercooler. So I am going to be keeping these hoses, but I got this at AutoZone. It was like, $20 for like 8 feet or something like that, 20-30 bucks. And then I got all these hoses at Walmart. You get 6 clamps in a package for like $3 or $4. It's the best deal. So just so you know, you're gonna have to get some hose and you're gonna have to get some clamps. But I've got all the wiring for the pump right here. I've just got to unbolt the pump down there. This is the harness that plugs into the pump. So once I get that unbolted, I can pull all that out. That'll go in the box. And yeah, I just want to give an update. And then once I get the radiator drained and get the hoses disconnected, I've got to pull the radiator and AC condenser out. Got to pull the fans out first. And then once I get all this stuff up here out of the car, then I can unbolt that front mount heat exchanger. And that'll go in the pile for Zach as well. So I just want to give y'all an update. I'm gonna keep working on her and give y'all another update here shortly. All right, you guys, got a little bit more done. So I've got both the belts off, got a lot of stuff out of the way, pulleys off. I got most of the harness disconnected on the engine. I've got all the supercharger bolts out, so they're all out. And man, I RTV'd this thing down and it is stuck. I was, had this pry bar and I put it through here like this, just trying to break it free. And I don't know how I'm supposed to get this thing out. So I'm just gonna keep disconnecting lines and unplugging stuff, disconnect the fuel lines, and just keep working on this. And maybe I'll try to save getting this off of the engine until after it's pulled out. But I just want to give y'all an update, show y'all the progress. So I'm going to keep working and give y'all another update here shortly. Alright, you guys, so one of my lights burned out. Well, both of these were burned out, and so I just replaced this one to give me some more light. I finally was able to get the supercharger off of the intercooler. So I got the supercharger sitting over here. The gasket was like soaked, so I'm pretty sure it's that fucking coolant O-rings over here. It's gotta be what it is. So, but anyways, yep, it was definitely leaking. It was getting the gasket all wet, and then it's running down the back side back there. So it's got to be something to do with those coolant elbows, because I didn't ever JB weld a dime or anything in, or have them welded up, or plug them, like tap it and plug it. And I should have done that, and I didn't. So that's probably why I've been having issues with it. So Zach, you might have to do that with your lower intake manifold. Tap and plug those with some little plugs. But yeah, so I'm about to get this all popped off of here, get the fuel logs off. I got to pull the 42s out because he's getting the 80s. So these 42s are still going to be available, and if they don't sell, then I'll just save them as backups for the Grand Am. But yeah, still making a shit ton of progress. I've got everything out over here. Belts are off. All the coolant lines are all disconnected. Both radiator hoses are off. Radiator's drained. I got the plug right here. So I've got like almost 3 gallons of coolant out of between the radiator and the intercooler system. I got almost 3 gallons of coolant. So I gotta throw this drain plug back in the radiator so it's not dripping anymore, and just keep on working on this, getting it torn apart. So gotta get this intercooler off and these fuel rails off next, and that way I'm not chancing damaging anything with the chain and the cherry picker and all that. So I'm gonna keep working on this, and I'll give you guys another update once I have all this stuff off, and grab the cherry picker, get the chains hooked up, and then I'll give you guys another update before I'm about to pull her out. So y'all stay tuned. All right, y'all. So we got how to remove the alternator to be able to get to the rear fuel rail bolt that goes in the lower intake manifold. So I got that off, and then was able to pull the rails off with the injectors. So now I just got to disconnect my fuel line here, and then drain the fuel. Got to remove the 42s, and the rails with all the AN line is going in the box. That's all going to Zach. So I just got to finish getting this disconnected, unrun all this line all the way down, which I'll probably do that stuff tomorrow. Tonight, I want to focus on getting the engine out. So, but yeah, just want to give y'all an update, let y'all know how everything's going. So after I get done with this, I'm going to pull the radiator fans and the radiator and AC condenser. And hopefully after that, I can get the intercooler off. And once the intercooler's off, then I'll be comfortable with hooking the chain up and pulling this out. Still have to pull the axles, still have to undo the trans mount and the engine mount, still got to undo the exhaust, still got to disconnect the transmission cooler lines. So, but yeah, man, it's coming along. So I'm gonna keep working on this and give you guys another update. All right, you guys, so intercooler is off. I've got it sitting up here along with the box of parts for Zach. Here's the air motive fuel logs, the belt wrap, the 2.9 pulley, all the intercooler bolts. There's a throttle body turn down, coils and wires are in there. There's the gauge pod with the boost gauge and all the boost line, the other belt, the 80-pound injectors. And I still got a lot more to go for him, so. But yeah, now that I've got that off, next thing I'm going to be removing is going to be the radiator fans and then pulling the radiator out. So that's on my list. He also bought these red ZZP radiator hoses. So once I undo these two clamps, then this will rock forward. I'll be able to get my my clamps off the hoses, pull the hoses off. They'll go up there in the box. And then I just got a zip tie and a couple 10mm on the side. The fans will come out. And then radiator should just come right out. So, but yeah, I'm making good progress. So, I'm going to keep working on it and give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so radiator is out. Got it sitting over here. Fans are sitting over there. So I've got the radiator hoses are sitting up here for Zach with everything else. So I gotta just keep going on. I've got to get this AC condenser out of the way so I can get to the screws for the front mount heat exchanger. And then I also have to unbolt the pump over there for the intercooler and get all that wiring. All that needs to go up there. And then after that, I can throw a bolt through here, throw a bolt on the alternator bracket, be able to lift, or I can even put my hook on the front, either way. But then I'll be able to put the chain on here, actually put some tension on it. And then I've still got to undo both of the strut to knuckle bolts so I can rock this forward, pop both of the axles out on both sides. Got to undo the trans mount, got to undo the engine mount. I still have to get the exhaust, still have to get the power steering line, still got to get the tranny cooler lines. And then after that, that should be everything, and I should be able to just pull this all out at once. I'm debating on just unbolting the power steering pump like I normally do. That way it's not making a mess. I've already made a huge mess with coolant and fuel. So, not really trying to make any more of a mess than I already have. So, I'm debating on just popping that off. It's just 213s. It'll just sit in there with the lines. And that can just be one less mess. So, I'm going to keep working on this. I got to get the cherry picker out of the shed with the chain. And, I mean, it's already like 10 o'clock. So, you know, I might just call it a night. And pick this up tomorrow morning. And keep working on it tomorrow morning. So, I know I'm going to kind of debate for a few. And figure out if I want to keep working on it or if I want to take a break. Because I've worked all day. I'm tired. Supposed to be working tomorrow, but I've got a guy coming to get heads, and I've got to get this done this weekend. So I'm gonna take a break at least for 10 or 15 minutes and kind of decide what I want to do, and then I'll give you guys another update. All right, you guys, so it's almost 1 a.m. I'm tired as fuck. So Zach called at like midnight. I talked to him for like almost an hour. And yeah, I mean, I got everything picked up, got all the tools back in the truck, got all the parts put up, and I just kind of picked up, you know, all the bolts and stuff, threw them on the battery tray, got all the wires tucked over to the side, tucked on top. I just set these bars back in here and the strut tower bar and the coolant tank, just trying to get some stuff out of the way. So I'm going to shut the hood down and lock it, and that way nobody can mess with anything overnight. And I'm going to manually lock all the doors. I'll just have to manually unlock them in the morning. And yeah, I'm going to get everything locked up and put up and get these lights off, and I'm not even going to take a shower. I'm just going to go inside and go to bed because I'm just tired. I'm beat. So I just want to give y'all another update, let y'all know what was going on. I made a lot of progress today, but I still got a lot to go. I still got to undo this whole fuel line, drop the tank, get the whole pump assembly out, pull the motor and trans, which means I got to remove the knuckles from both axles, pop the axles out, or from both knuckles, I mean, pop both the axles out, undo both mounts, get the exhaust undone, get the trans lines undone. There's a lot to go. So yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys in the morning. All right, you guys, so it's the next morning. It's like 10:30. I slept a little bit longer than I wanted to, but like I said, I was really tired. So I got up, got out here. I've already got under the car. I just disconnected the downpipe from the rear manifold. So other than engine and transmission mount and pulling the axles out, everything's pretty much ready to come out. Oh, and AC lines, power steering lines, tranny cooler lines. Tranny cooler lines are real easy. They're just AN fitting right into the front there. So just undo a couple AN fittings. That'll be done. And that pump should come off pretty easily. Got to disconnect both the AC lines over here. And I'm going to drop the power steering pump, unbolt it from the engine over there. That'll take care of the power steering lines. And yeah, I should have this thing out here in about an hour. So the guy is coming to get the heads. He said he's already almost to Tulsa. So he's going to make a pit stop, and they're going to eat something before they get here, so they're not just waiting around. So I've got to get a move on. So I'm going to grab my ratchet and the 13, drop that power steering pump, undo these AC lines, and just finish getting all this stuff disconnected. I've got to get the cherry picker out of the shed, get it hooked up, and yank this thing out of here. So y'all give me a little bit, and I'll give y'all another update. All right, y'all, so I just undid AC lines. So just gotta let all this fucking Freon out of the lines, disconnect both lines. Ooh. But steady making progress. Once I get these AC lines off, I can get the trans cooler lines off. So I've already got this axle over here popped out. I come over here. I've got this one disconnected. I'm just having issues getting this axle popped out of the trans. So I just kind of gave up on that and figured I would do something else productive instead of fighting the same thing for an hour. I'm trying to get this shit out of here. So I'm going to keep working on it. Got to get this axle out, get these lines disconnected, unbolt the power steering pump, and then we should be able to get this thing pulled out of here. So I'll give you all another update. Alright guys, so I've got the trans cooler lines are disconnected, the power steering pump's unbolted, all the wiring's undone. I still got to get the engine mount and the trans mount and the shifter cable. But I went ahead and got the cherry picker out, got it hooked up, and conveniently it just decides it doesn't want to fucking work no more. So it went up about halfway. barely even put any tension on the engine, and it just ain't doing shit. So I don't know how the fuck I'm supposed to pull this engine and transmission out of here without a fucking cherry picker. So I don't even know. I guess there ain't no one getting shit today. So I know I've got to fuck with this fucking cherry picker now. I swear, dude. But alright, I'm gonna keep fucking with this. Just want to give y'all an update of my shitty ass fucking luck. So alright, y'all. So I lowered the picker all the way down and then started raising it back up, and it was working. So I've got everything disconnected, engine's up, but now it's maxed out again. It won't go any higher than this. And I'm catching here on the radiator support and over here on the engine mount. Like, I can move this to where it'll clear, but it ain't going up no more. So I don't know what the hell the deal is. So I might have to lower this back down, set it back down in place, lower the car down close to the fucking ground like it's sitting on the wheels, and then pull the motor and shit out. I don't know, this shit just fucking work. I'm not understanding why the fuck it ain't just working. But everything's out, engine's out. I just got to get it over the radiator support and get it out of the car. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give y'all another update here shortly. Alright, you guys, so I had to lower the car all the way down, a lowest setting on the jack stands, and was able to get the engine and trans out. So it's out. Need to set it down on something that I don't want to fuck up this pan. But I need to set it down. I need to unbolt the front and rear manifold, the lower intake manifold, get the heads off, and that way those are ready to go because dude's already in Tulsa. So yeah, I'm just gonna drop this on the ground. I'll set it on the ground and start tearing these heads off so I can get those ready for dude that's coming to get them. And but there she is, she empty bay. And new axles, $100 for the pair, HD axles. It's super cheap. It's like less than half the price of what they were new. Brand new rack and pinion, 6 months old, from Detroit Axle. Still good on that, $100. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and set this thing on the ground and start getting this shit torn apart and give y'all another update. Alright, you guys, so motor is out on the ground. I've got the lower intake off, sitting here. I've got the power logs and the crossover sitting over there. Got the heads off. Got the head sitting over here. So I'm about to send dude a message, let him know that they are off and waiting for him. And then he should be here anytime. And so I've got to keep going on this. I got to pull these head studs out. I've got all the nuts and washers sitting right here. So Zach, got all your head studs sitting here, your new push rods. And the next thing's next. I got to pull the crank pulley, the timing cover, get the cam and the timing set, the LS7 lifters. And yeah, and then that's pretty much everything that's been sold so far. Oh, and those MLS head gaskets, that's all going to Zach. So, but yeah, there's still some good parts on here, so never know. Like I said, I might just get a junkyard engine and trans and throw in here for $300-400 because nobody's bought any of the suspension stuff. I've had people ask about it, but then everyone's saying it's too much money, and I'm like, I don't know, this is cheaper than what I paid for it. So I'm not giving stuff away. I've already gave away most of the shit, you know, like over half off what I paid. But yeah, there's still some good parts left in here, so I gotta finish getting this engine torn apart, and I'll give y'all another update. Alright, you guys, well, dude just came and picked up the heads. We talked for about 20-30 minutes. He asked a bunch of questions about the cam and the engine and just way stuff is set up, and he's got a One of the new Supras, baby blue. Y'all gotta look at this thing when he drives by. This thing is nice. But yeah, he just came and got the head, so heads are gone. And yeah, so now I gotta finish tearing this engine apart, get the rest of these parts out for Zach, and get a couple other things for a couple other people, and keep making more progress. So guess y'all stay tuned, give y'all another update. Alright, you guys, so I made some progress. I've got the head studs out, got the push rods and everything all bagged up, wiped down. I wiped down the Cometic MLS gaskets. So this is all Zach's stuff. Well, not all of it. Still got the cam and the stuff inside the engine. And then he actually called and he said he wants the ZZP sway bar with the poly end links and the timing cover with the machined oil pump and stuff. So yeah, the timing cover has to come off anyways, but I don't have my pulley puller tool. It's over at the storage, so I'm gonna have to run to the storage before I can pull the timing cover off. I just want to give y'all an update, let you know I got pretty much everything else disassembled. And then the starter is sold along with the poly transmission mount. And those are sold to, something Vieira. He's in California. He's actually the guy that sold me the belt wrap originally off his Hellboy, which is now Turbo. James, that's it, James Vieira. So, James, thanks for your purchase. Got your poly trans mount and the starter down here. So, those will be shipped out soon. And then, Zach, yeah, as soon as I get this timing cover off, I'll have your timing set, the cam, and the lifters. And that should pretty much be everything that you purchased, except for the fuel pump assembly and the line and everything going back. So, probably not going to get that pulled today, but just probably sometime throughout the week after work. But making a lot of progress. So, just want to give y'all an update, let y'all know what's going on. I still have the power logs and crossover and the ZZP 3-inch catless downpipe, and got the AC compressor, AC lines, the balancer pulley, and still have the rest of the engine block if anyone's looking for a good block. And if not, if no one buys the block, like I said, I have all the NA set up in the shed still. I very easily just grab a cheap gasket set for 60-70 bucks online and throw this thing back together NA, get a junkyard transmission for a couple $100, throw this thing back together. Or if I can find a supercharged Grand Prix at the salvage, I might just buy the whole engine and trans and just throw it back in here as a stock setup and go that route. So there's still stuff I could do with this thing. I still have the AC compressor. Oh, I still have to get the front mount heat exchanger off and the pump for the intercooler for Zach as well. But I mean, I still got lots of life left in this car. It sucks she's being parted out, but I could definitely still use some of the parts for the Grand Am or something like that. So I just want to give y'all an update, let y'all know how it's going. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give y'all another update. Alright, y'all. So it's the next day. It is now Sunday. It's about noon. And so yesterday, after the last clip, I ended up getting all my shit picked up. I was about to head to the storage. Garrett came by to get the transmission, and it wasn't, already disassembled from the engine. I hadn't unmarried it yet. So we hung out for about an hour, and then he left, and I went to the storage. I got the pulley puller for the crank pulley. It's in the truck, and I also grabbed a couple boxes. I grabbed the box that the new heat exchanger for the Grand Am came in, so the ZZP heat exchanger should fit in that. So, Zach, I'm trying to keep it nice and safe and not damage anything. And then So whenever I left, I grabbed the NA heads that came off the 06 out of the shed and just set them on there. And I could not find any head bolts. I guess I've just thrown them all away already. So I had no head bolts at all to bolt them down. So they are literally just setting on there. And then I set the supercharged lower intake manifold on there. I do need to take this block off plate so I can use that on the Grand Am, because I'm going to delete the EGR on the Grand Am engine. And I took the power logs over there last night. So sometime today I have to unbolt the downpipe from the resonator, so I can just take the whole downpipe over there to the storage. And so in the next video of the storage, I'm going to swap the 42s to the set that I just pulled off this engine. And because I know they're a brand new set, the ones that are on the Grand Am now are the ones I bought from Marcus Martin, and they were used. They were had E85 ran through them, and I never cleaned them. I just got them in the mail, wiped them down, put new O-rings, and threw them on. And so that could be one reason why the Grand Am isn't starting. But a lot of it, I think, is just I didn't wire it correctly. But yeah, so now this morning I've got to get some tools out of the truck, and I'm going to pull this lower intake and these heads back off. I'm going to lift the engine up, pull the starter off, because that's for James. And so I'm going to pull that starter and the poly transmission out. I'm probably going to clean up the starter a little bit. I might power wash it or something, or just spray it down with the hose to clean it up some. And then I'll wipe it down, so that way it's not all dirty whenever James gets it. And but yeah, I need to pull the starter off, get the torque converter bolts out, unmarry the engine from the trans, and then that way the trans will be ready to go for Garrett. He's going to come back today sometime and pick up the transmission and the wheels. So I also grabbed 2 more jack stands, so I need to jack up the rear and put it on jack stands, because Garrett's coming to get all of his wheels today and the transmission. So and then yeah, then I've got to figure out something to do with the engine after I pull the cam and everything out. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty busy day today too, but at least not as much. And then I'm going to have to find some wheels and tires to throw back on here, because I can't just leave it on jack stands with no wheels and tires. So, but yeah, I'm going to figure something out with it. And yeah, I just want to give y'all an update, let y'all know what happened last night and everything. So that's the goal today, is to just get some more of this stuff off. And I've got to figure out some wheels and tires. I found a set for $175. Well, he wants 200. I offered him 175. And one of the wheels is cracked, but all 4 tires like brand new. And so I think I might just go buy those just so it has something. And I mean, I sold him my wheels and tires for $325. So if I get these for $175, I'm still making some money. So it won't be that big a deal. It'll be okay to sit on one flat. At least it'll have wheels on it. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna get some tools out and get to work, and I'll give you all another update. You guys, so I've got the heads off over here, lower intake. I hooked up the chain. I went ahead and moved the engine over here into the driveway to give me a little more room. And I need to put some floor dry cat litter down over there to soak up some of that fluid. So, but yeah, so I got the pulley puller out that I went to the storage yesterday and grabbed, and went ahead and got it set up. These 3 bolts are they're just a bolt that I got at like Ace Hardware, and they were just like a couple bucks. And all it was like these other bolts that come in the kit are the same thread, like these. It's the same thread, but they're not long enough. And so they sell this other kit, and I just can't see why I would spend extra money, 20-30 bucks for some bolts, whenever I can get the same shit at, you know, Ace Hardware for $2 or $3. And so yeah, I just went and got some bolts, and then I have a little socket that I put in there so that this piece here has something to ride on, and so that way it's not hitting the crank and fucking up the crank. And yeah, it works. And then this one is a 14. And just like that, crank pulley is off. And then yeah, there's the socket. Yeah, it's just that easy. Boom, it's off. So now we've got to get the pulley puller, unbolt it, get it all back in the box, and now I can go ahead and pull all the rest of this off. Pull the crank sensor. I'm leaving the cam sensor for Zach. I got a guy that wants this supercharger idler pulley and the coil pack bracket with the tensioner and the other idler with the ICM. So I've got the other parts sitting in the trunk, so I got to pull this off and put with that. And yeah, and then I've got to get that starter off, start getting the lines disconnected, or the bolts disconnected from the torque converter. And then got to pull this bracket up here off, and then I'll be able to set it back down on the ground and pull out the bell housing bolts, and then the engine and trans should be unmarried and should be good to go. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update. Alright guys, so I just got the starter removed and went ahead and just brake cleaned it off. Looking nice and minty now. So there you go, James. There's your new starter. And then I gotta unbolt the poly mount. Still lots of life left in that mount and that starter. That was like $150 something starter. So hope you can use them, enjoy them. And yeah, so now I've got to pull the lifter guides, pull the lifters out, pull the timing cover, and then once I get the timing cover off, I can pull that double roller timing set and pull the cam out and go from there and start getting this thing all disassembled and get everything boxed up. I got to disconnect, unbolt the bell housing of the trans and get this bracket off, and then everything will pretty much be apart and everything will be ready to come be picked up and be shipped out. So I'm gonna get to work and I'll give y'all another update here shortly. Alright you guys, so I've got the cam out, timing set is off, got the downpipe off, everything's in here. So I got the cam in here in the box, got the double roller timing set, lifter guides, lifters, push rods. So everything that's coming off the engine is off. I went ahead and just wrapped the bag around it. So now I still got to get off the intercooler pump and the front mount heat exchanger, the fuel pump and the fuel line, and that's it. Oh, and the sway bar. So making lots of progress. I'll give y'all another update. Alright, so look bro, so I got the tank out. I'm trying to get the pump out, but it's like it's swelled up. It's doing the exact same thing my original one did. And I don't want to break this thing because, I mean, I can't afford to fucking refund any money.
It's like right.
I know, I just want to be real careful with it.
I'm just holding a little tension. It's like out of round a little or something.
Well, it's exactly what it's like it's expanded from the gas, I guess. Just leave it alone. Alright you guys, so I've got everything off this car that has been purchased. I got the tank with the pump assembly here. And then I've got everything else in the back seat. I need to get everything loaded up in the truck, because I've got to take everything to Oklahoma City tomorrow. It's about an hour and a half, a little over an hour and a half drive out there. So I have a little 3 to 3.5 hour round trip. So I need to make some room back here in the back seat, get some of this crap out of here, so I can get all that stuff loaded up in here, go drop it off. And then after I get done with that, I've got to go out to the salvage yard. I've got to go look and pull a radiator for this other Grand Prix, because I don't want to use his EZP radiator. Sorry, this has been like a long week and a half, 2 weeks since the part out. So sorry I haven't posted anything. I've been trying to get a lot of stuff done. But yeah, so the 07 is still pretty much a complete car minus engine and transmission. So this thing can still go back together. But yeah, that's probably going to be it on this video. So y'all leave me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the other videos. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.